Anti-Israel protests erupting on Ivy League campuses with their pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist message. Our next guest says scenes like this one are all too familiar, and that these protesters are following the exact same script as Black Lives Matter and Antifa rioters in his hometown of Seattle starting in 2020. Seattle Talk radio host Jason Rantz joins us now. Jason, thanks for being here. So do you think we're at the beginning of something that we're going to have to deal with through the summer? What are you seeing?
Absolutely. I mean, this is starting almost precisely the same way that the BLM and Antifa movement took over in 2020, leading us into that summer of love, right? I mean, you've got to start this massive amount of law breaking, less violent this case, but it was trespassing. You have a police response that then the protesters claim was too overwhelming and out of line. Then you get a bigger protest the next day. Then you have politicians and law enforcement trying to figure out whether or not at that point it's worth to get engaged again and do the same thing. Because if they don't, they end up creating this momentum on the protester side, which then spreads. And that's precisely what we're seeing right now. Because not only is it happening in Columbia, you're seeing these different sort of solidarity protests popping up around college campuses, including Yale last night. And it's only going to continue into this next week. And so by letting up and not putting back some sort of semblance of law and order as far as trespassing is concerned, they're just giving in. And what we're going to have is this happening over and over and over again before it's just too big, and we're not going to be able to put it back.
Yeah, looks a lot like Chaz and Chap, or Chaz and Chop, or whatever they were called, the autonomous zones. You know, these things happen to spring up, just so happen to spring up in election years, 2020, 2024. What's that all about?
Well, it's because the same people are behind all of this. At the end of the day, what's interesting is, yes, they're anti-Semitic and they don't like Israel or Jews. But the Venn diagram of the anti-capitalists and the anti-Israel people, they're just overlapping. There's no room in between. These are anti-capitalist organizations, socialists, who are going after the oppressive regime of capitalism. And when you pay attention to some of their language, some of the signs that they bring, they're going after the economy. On Monday, when they were blocking the roads to SeaTac Airport or Chicago O'Hare or the Golden Gate Bridge, that was an economic blockade. So they're not really hiding what it is they're really about. They're just using Israel the same way, frankly, they use the BLM issue to just commandeer and then push forward with their own political agenda.
These are the same answer folks, the same socialist folks, just a different veneer on the same revolution they're trying to impose on the rest of us. Jason Rantz, you see it from that view because you've seen it from the beginning before. Appreciate you coming on this morning. Thank you.